Hey guys, it's your girl Nicole, and behind me is Monique, the owner of Candy Hair Company. And I'm here, as you can see, getting my hair done. We just did a wash and put in a treatment, and then we're gonna steam it right here in the steamer. So I know you guys haven't seen me in a while, but I thought, why not make this opportunity to do a YouTube video for you guys? So I went natural in 2005, and this is my first time getting a full service done with a professional hairstylist. So it's quite an experience. I'm excited. I'm enjoying it so far, and I cannot wait to see the results. And you could definitely check out Monique on Instagram. Her Instagram.
CandyHairCompany.com.
Yes, she's amazing, guys. I've been following her for a while. She's also on YouTube. I've been following her on YouTube first, then I headed on over to Instagram and followed her there as well. And I ended up in Toronto for a week, and I said I have to make the opportunity to come in and see Monique.
That's
to get
right.
my hair,
get your hair
done and treated by a professional. So stay tuned. I will show you guys some more later.
Without a brush.
This is just by stretching, guys.
Yeah, while blow drying. So
wow.
No brush. You can use your fingers to detangle. And take out any of the knots, and you just pull it real taut. Not too, but just enough. How much easier it is to blow it out?
Yep. Hey guys, so we just finished blow drying the hair, so now we are silk pressing it. And Monique is going to share some tips when it comes to using heat, because I know a lot of naturals are hesitant when it comes to heat. I, for one, I use heat all the time, so it's not really a bother for me. But just to give you guys some tips on using heat on natural hair, and maybe it'll help, what's the word I'm looking for?
So just to kind of maintain your hair so that it doesn't, you don't get heat damage. For me, I like to use some sort of a heat protectant. I'm not a fan of any that comes in a spray bottle that is a very heavy oil.
Talking about that, sorry to interrupt you. I actually use the AG Firewall, is it?
I like Firewall.
You like that one? Okay.
Firewall I do like because it's light.
Yes.
It's an actual argan oil, but they just put it in an aerosol bottle. And I do often use Firewall. It's amazing. And I just like how light it is, and it's not like a heavy oil that's frying your hair out. That's what it is. Like, I think there's one called Silk Elements at Sally's that a lot of people use. I used it one time and I hated it because I can actually hear the hair frying.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Not good at all. So you want to use something as a heat protectant. My preferred heat protectant is Chi.
Okay. It's a
serum. I'll put that in when the hair is wet, and do a blow dry it really well. One major tip is that you want to actually blow out the hair really, really well, so that you don't have to go high on a heat for flat ironing. You don't want to go to 410 and 400. So you can kind of not do that by blow drying out really, really well. So you're going to use a heat protector, you're going to blow the hair out really, really well, and you want to do one pass. I usually do 2 passes at the roots, and then 1 pass going down, because right now we're just straightening so that we can actually see what's going on with your ends. And then I'm going to do one more where I'm actually curling your hair, so I don't want to pass the flat iron on your hair too many times. So this is just to get it pretty straight, so we can actually see what's going on with the ends, and we can give you a good trim. Another thing with flat ironing is that if you do not trim your ends or take care of your ends, you're going to see it fall during a flat iron. So another key thing would be to get regular trims.
And how often do you think someone should get their hair trimmed?
There's no rule to say exactly when. Typically, like back in the days, we used to say every 4 to 6 weeks you should get a trim. I think that everybody's different. There's some people that never use heat on their hair. They protect their hair really well, so they can go a little bit longer. I would say anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks you should be doing a dusting, and that's just to remove any kind of frizziness at the ends, keep the hair really healthy. Because I often hear people say, oh, my hair doesn't grow, or I went to a hairdresser and she cut my hair one time and it doesn't grow. That's not true. Every hair on your body grows, and your hair can't be the only hair that just doesn't grow. The reason being is that whenever you get new growth, by the time you can actually see it, the split ends climb upwards, break off, so it always looks like your hair is stagnant in one length.
Right.
So that's why you got to do regular trims to make sure that you can actually see the healthier hair. You can actually start seeing your hair growing. And I'm a person that I don't like to over flat iron hair around the perimeter of the head, like the edges and stuff. I'm not really into putting the flat iron there too much, because that is really fine virgin hair that's growing out of your scalp, and by you putting all that heat on it will cause it to break. So I try not to put too much heat in those areas. Make sure you put a heat protectant, something so that it can kind of coat the hair while the flat iron's passing. If possible, I'll use a wax or an edge control and tie it down with a strip so that I don't have to go right to the root and like over flat iron or too much heat, because that can actually be a problem. So those are my tips.
Nice. One question though. What are your thoughts on like conditioners that say it acts as a heat protectant, like washout conditioners?
I don't know about that. I think you have to add something to the hair to coat it after you've blown it out. Because the heat kind of dries out when you see all that smoke and stuff, any kind of oil and stuff you put in your hair. I personally, like I said, I put the chi after when the hair is wet, and I do a blow, and then I go back and I put a little bit more when I'm doing the flat iron. So I would stick with something that you can control how much you put on, how little or a lot you put on, and I prefer to go with a sort of type of serum as a protectant versus relying on like a washout conditioner, because then that means it's also depositing stuff on your hair, and it's like you don't want all that stuff on your hair, like silicones, and you don't want all that kind of stuff.
Hey guys, so now we are trimming my hair, and I have quite a bit to trim off, which I don't mind. I'm not hung up on length. I definitely prefer my ends to look clean and smooth and full and healthy. So healthy hair over length any day. But Monique, I wanted to ask you a question. What can somebody do, or do you recommend putting like maybe like a hair oil on your ends, or like a specific type of ends treatment every night to kind of preserve it? And will that make it able to not trim as often?
So you want to keep the ends moisturized, but you don't want your hair looking oily, especially if you pay to get a silk press. The idea is a silk press, unlike back in the day with the common press and curl, how they use a lot of pressing oil. This hair is supposed to have more fluid movement to it. It's lighter. It's not as oily and greasy. So you don't want to go and load the hair up with oils. Oils are perfect as sealers to seal moisture into the hair. So yes, you can go ahead and do that, but you just need very little. Like literally, you would just put a little bit on your fingers, do like this, and run it through your hair, concentrating to the ends. Nothing where when you're done, you're gonna just see it kind of like all stick together. But it is a good idea. It's a good idea to kind of tuck away those ends when it's not being used, meaning like when you're not wearing it out. Make sure when you braid it, try to braid it close to the end. And if you're doing any type of protective styling, rolling it up into a bun or something to protect the ends is always the best way, and will keep your ends healthier, less
Nice.
splits.
Nice. And do you have any thoughts on products that cater to like mending split ends or anything like that?
See, those products that are for split end mending, they're great just to kind of hide what's going on, but really and truly you need to trim your ends.
Right.
Just trim.
Yeah.
Those ones, what they'll do is that in the places where there's damage, there's like a little hole in the hair strand, and what it does is it has products that fill in those holes to make it appear healthy, but again, it's temporary.
Okay.
So it's just best for you to just trim it off.
Okay. Hear that, ladies? Trim your ends. Trim your ends.
Trim your ends. That's the most.
Yeah.
Trimming ends doesn't make your hair grow. It just allows for your hair to be healthier so that it doesn't break off. Because a lot of people have a misconception that, oh yeah, trim your ends because it'll make your hair grow. It doesn't make your hair grow. Your hair your hair is going to grow.
Right.
But trimming the ends will keep it healthy. Remove all of that. Like a split end looks like a frayed, like, you know when you cut a thread.
Yep.
And it starts to fray out.
Right. Yeah.
That's what split ends looks like.
Not
so the
cute.
more and exactly the
Yeah.
more and more that you keep combing it and touching it, it starts to fray upwards, and that's when it breaks off, and that's what makes you feel like, oh, my hair is not growing, it's just staying stagnant. That's not the case. It's just because you're not removing those things, and they are kind of climbing up the hair and breaking your hair off before it has a chance to grow and actually for you to see it and enjoy your length.
Right. Okay. Hear that, guys? Get your ends trimmed. Don't hang on to dead length.
There's no point.
There's no point. There is no point at all.
It's not cute.
No, it's not. And your hair will look so much better, and it'll thank you.
Look at this. This is how your ends should look.
Gorgeous.
Nice and blunt, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have any kind of knots and little fraying. You should just have a nice blunt end.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make it look the healthiest.
Yeah, and I feel like when your ends are nice and clean, your hairstyle's better too.
It does. It
So,
straightens better. It blows
yeah.
out better. It combs through better. That means you can comb through your hair easily.
Yeah.
If the comb gets stuck in the bottom half of your hair while brushing it out, that means it's time for a trim.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, get your hair trimmed. Hey guys, so we're just about done trimming, and then we're gonna go into styling. So Monique, I had a question for you regarding wigs. Now, seeing the condition of my hair and the breakage along my hairline, do you recommend that I wear wigs?
If you do, I would probably suggest for you to go to a custom wig maker.
Okay.
Don't buy anything at the beauty supply store like those pre-made wigs, because the cap on a pre-made wig is very harsh around the hairline. It pulls, makes your hair very dry. Get someone that's a wig maker that can make a custom wig on a dome cap. Any wig, when it's rubbing in that area too much and you're not moisturizing or caring for it, will break your edges off. I just find that the store-bought ones are really rough. Like, if you feel it, by the end of the day, sometimes it's really sore hair. When you go to take it off, sometimes it pulls your hair. You should wear some sort of a stocking cap first and then the wig on. Although wigs are really great for getting your hair to grow, and they're really great for protective styling, you just can't abuse them, and you have to take care of your hair. So if you're going to wear a wig, make sure you moisturize every 2 to 3 days around your perimeter with a little bit of oil. Give it a massage when you take your wig off, but just don't put the wig on and forget about your hair, because a lot of people do that and it will cause further damage. So what you're trying to prevent by wearing one, you're actually doing it because you're not caring for your hair.
Yeah. And then I was told that if I am going to wear wigs, instead of cornrowing my hair back, I should cornrow the perimeter down like this. Does that make a difference?
I personally, when I do wig preps for clients when they come and get their hair washed, treated, and steamed, and things like that, I like to trick the hair by alternating.
Okay.
So most of my clients come within 2 to 3 weeks to wash and treat their hair. So 1 week I may do all back. right?
Okay.
The next week I might do them coming down this way. Another week I might do it back, but then braid the hairline just at the hairline going downwards. I just like to switch it up a lot so that it's not, when you're cornrolling going back, it can cause receding if it's really tight. And I don't actually braid really, really tight around here. I keep it a little bit looser, so that way it's not pulling. And if you keep for a year, let's say you did it for a year and you keep braiding going backwards, it can cause breakage.
Okay.
So yeah, like even if you wanted to do all of them going back in a cornrow, what you could do is you can actually just braid just the side here, coming down, so that it's not pulling in, damaging. But that's the best thing to do, and just make sure that you're taking care of your hair underneath, most importantly.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. Lots of great tips, guys, from Monique with Candy Hair Company. You guys definitely check her out. I'll leave all her info in the information section below, and I'll be back with the finished style. We're styling now, guys, and we put some edge control on my edges, and we're using this to hold it down to set it. Now I'm just going to get some curls in my hair. Is there a specific flat iron you'd recommend for home use?
Right now most people in their home have ceramic irons.
Yeah.
I use a thermaline iron. It's really hot. It's one of those irons that, yeah, they work great, they get really nice and hot, but you have to really be careful with. But most importantly, I like it because it glides on the hair. You notice how the hair's not sticking in the flat iron?
Yeah.
I don't like that because it creates creases, and also like it's just letting the flat iron sit in a certain part of your hair longer than it really needs to be.
Yeah.
Especially because we already did the flat iron. Right now we're just adding the curl to it.
Yeah.
I just like how it just glides across the hair a lot better. This one is a professional iron. It's a babyless titanium, not titanium, thermaline iron, because there's titanium too. Okay. So for you guys, you could use the titanium because that's like just below the thermaline.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more safer. Like these ones, the one that I have heats up in like 5 seconds. Wow. Like really, 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 really hot, and it could be dangerous.
Right. Especially if you have young kids like me.
Yeah, that like to pick up your flat iron.
Right.
So it's best to kind of go with something that has a little bit of a lower heat. Most irons these days go to 450. Just because it says 450 doesn't mean you need to put it at 450.
Right.
You should keep it somewhere in the 390, 400 if you have very coarse hair. That's a little bit more resistant. But I would say more cases than none to keep it at 390.
Okay. Sounds good.
Has so much like movement.
Yeah.
And it's not stiff. And then it has like a really beautiful shine to it.
Really nice.
Shaky. You could
Guys, I love it so much. Like, I've never had this much movement in my hair ever. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Monique.
You're welcome.
Guys, if you need a hairstylist, you're in Toronto, Scarborough, check out Monique Candy Hair Company. She did a fabulous job. Remember, this is my first time getting a full service since 2005. I trust her. Definitely. I definitely recommend her.